Good afternoon. My name is Samantha Pierre, and I'm here with a very special guest, Frezza. Thank you for being here. We're very happy for you to choose this very exciting project. So, what branch of the military were you in?
I was in the U.S. Air Force from 1967 to 1971.
Did you choose to be in that branch?
I did. When I graduated high school in June, a friend of mine, Jerry Minley, who I remember quite fondly, was going to join and asked me to go with him. He said they had a buddy plan and that we could go together and then we could pick because he didn't want to join the Army. And with the Vietnam War going on, I said, okay, I can do that. And at the time, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do after high school. And he was talking about aircraft mechanics. So when we went to the recruiter, they said, oh, yeah, well, we could give you aircraft mechanics. So anyway, we signed up, and we graduated in June of '67. And in July, he had a colon issue. So he stayed behind, and I had to go without him. So I left for my basic training in July on my own. What else you want to know?
Where did you serve?
I served my basic training in Lackland Air Force Base for, it takes that, Air Force training is a little bit different than Marines and stuff. So it was like, we were there 9 weeks. And after 9 weeks, you get assignments. And I was thinking about this when we were talking, when I was talking to Carol Freitas actually, how you think about what you're going to do. And I had mentioned to you that I was going to be an aircraft mechanic. And they said, yes, we're going to make you an aircraft mechanic. So I finished basic training, we're getting ready, and a lot of the people that I was doing my training with, they got assignments to go home. I got assignment to go to Amarillo, Texas, and I was going to be an administrative specialist.
Oh.
That was my new thing. I think the classification was a 702 series, and I was going to learn to type and file. That was my job.
That's very interesting.
It's more than you realize. When I'll tell you more.
So, what do you remember about the day you went to boot camp?
The date that I remember, I'll tell you exactly. I have never flown in my life prior to going to the military. And so we had to go from Providence, get on the plane to go to New York. In New York, the plane was delayed, and I had to think about this, but delayed about 6 hours. So I'm in the airport in New York. I forget what the name it was, LaGuardia or something else at the time. But there were other recruits. And so we were sitting down, we introducing ourselves and waiting. And then the flight from New York to Texas was quite long.
Oh.
We probably arrived there at maybe 3:30 in the morning. And all I remember was we had to get off. Everybody just got their little luggage with them. And this guy in a uniform yelling at us to get in line, and we're going to go to the chow hall and eat at like 4 o'clock in the morning. We never even went to the barracks or anything like that, but they took us in, and there was no one else, probably about 30 of us that were there, and gave us breakfast, and they're yelling at all the time, sit up, you learn to do this, and then after we ate, we had to take your tray, put it away, and then they took us to the barracks and showed us where we were going to stay.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
What did you imagine military life before you joined?
Fortunately, I knew a little bit about it because, not because I grew up in Providence, but because of the area that I grew up. A lot of the kids that I grew up with didn't go to college. They needed to do something. Either went to the work in the factories or they went in the military. So by the time that I had decided to get in the military, some of my friends had already gone into the military, and they came back. Their uniforms, walking straight and tall, and telling us, depending on where they went, I had some that went to the Marines, and they came back. They were stiff as a board, and they were really sharp. And then some in the Air Force and some in the Army. But their attitudes were all different. They all, gave us some stories of what it was like to be in each particular branch. So
What was your favorite story they told?
My favorite story is that no matter what you did, someone was going to be yelling at you. Whether he was happy or not, he was going to be yelling at you, and that's what they do. Their level, classic example is when they come in, we had 4 trainees to a room. You had the bunk beds, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. And they would come in the morning, and they woke you up at 4 o'clock every morning with a trash can and a stick. And they would be banging it like this here, and you could hear this clank, 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 and everybody, of course, wake up. And then someone would come in and yell, using some vulgarity, I don't want to say that, get out of bed, everybody, you know, everything was a higher octane. And then they would come in and you'd have to stand at attention while you just got out of bed. They would check, make sure everybody was up. They'd tell you, make your bed, then they would come back. We could get dressed, so make your bed and get dressed. And then they would come and look. And every now and then you get somebody come in with a quarter. When you talk about the quarter bouncing off the sheet of the bed if it wasn't tight. So I got a few, Frezza, don't you know how to make a bed? That kind of stuff. So it was quite interesting. I remember the yelling.
Did your military service lead to the work you did after you left the military?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you a story. If I don't know how much time you have, but when I went in, finished my basic training, and I finished my administrative training, I was assigned to the Philippines Air Base, Clark Air Force Base, in January of 1968. I got there. The first thing that you notice when you get this, we had to travel in winter clothes. The Air Force has, I thought, nice clothes, but they're heavy. So when you're flying on a plane from California to the Philippines, I don't know, it's like 18 hours, it seems like. When you get off the plane when it opens, it's like jumping in an oven. It was so darn hot. But when I got there and I got my assignment, I was with the 5th Tactical Organization, and my assignment was to type. It was to type, because I had learned about all the manuals, all the military ways that they did typing, awards, whatever. And I learned quite good. So I got this job working at a command post. And at that time, the USS Pueblo was a spy ship, quote, it was a intelligence gathering ship, got captured by the North Koreans. At the time, it was very top secret stuff. I was fortunate enough to be able to do the work that they needed with my typing, because I could type very fast at that time and get things done, and they needed a clerk. So I was able to work in this command post and get all the first-hand information that was going on with this capture and you could see what was on the news. Very little, but I was in a command post. I knew a lot. It was very, very exciting. Because of the work that I did, I was able to do a couple of TDY trips to Vietnam, because I wasn't stationed in Vietnam. I got to go there, and they have it's called boots on the ground. So I was able to get classified as a Vietnam veteran because I did go on ground. But because of the Pueblo, and one time we had a aircraft go down, and they were looking for volunteers to search the area. You would get up on a plane. Oh, I hate to fly, but you'd volunteer to do anything. So 4 or 5 hours you're in the plane and you're looking down trying to find the ship. So, or the aircraft actually. So I remember those stories. Yeah.
That sounds very interesting. Were you
at the time.
scared at any points?
I was scared every day. The thing is, you're away from home. No matter how old you are, no matter what you're doing, when you leave home, you got that anchor. I don't care how it is, you got that anchor. And then to get back to that anchor, you can't go because you have water, land, you got to fly, you got to, it just takes so long. So you miss that. But little by little, you get to meet friends and you get to adjust to it. So you do.
That's very interesting.
It was a very interesting time.
Well, I was glad I got to meet you today.
Well, it was very nice to be here.
Thank you for joining our project.
I appreciate that. All right, it's nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.